it will be a sweep, which means everyone get your broomsticks out because we are cleaning things up. All was quiet here in the kennel as craziness has come and gone for another year. As you mentioned, Killian Tilly nowhere to be found in this building. We do 7 braids. Taylor's doing 5. Tyson does 7. Why 7? The drive for the title continues as the Gonzaga men's basketball team is just one day away from a rematch against Florida State in the Sweet 16 in this year's NCAA tournament. For the Spokane Chiefs, they've been away for the last 10 days, traveling to 4 cities for a total of 1,052 miles to get back here to the arena. Gonzaga wanted revenge from a season ago, and they certainly got it. They also told us they had a big group chat with a couple of former players from last year. They didn't tell us exactly who, but I'm sure you could guess a few, maybe Perk, Rui Hachimura. They wanted it just as bad as this current team, and they are taking the trophy back to Spokane. North Carolina is in a very tough stretch right now. Gonzaga was the 3rd top 10 team that they've played in the last 4 games. You mix that with your starting point guard out in Cole Anthony for 4 to 6 weeks, and it wasn't pretty. But Coach Few said it all week long, and Roy Williams told me the same thing tonight. This is what college basketball is supposed to be like. When it comes to fans and baseball games, sometimes they're a little quick when they do put trash in these bins. Like this goes in landfill and this goes in compost. The return of Killian Tilly was almost overshadowed by a poor shooting night by Gonzaga. It was really tough to get this thing in the hoop, but that didn't stop the Zags from beating UT Arlington by 6 points. Pete Carroll walked into his Christmas Eve press conference this morning saying these words: "I'm not wearing a number 24 jersey under this sweatshirt," in case you're wondering. We knew that this was going to be a back and forth game for you guys. How do you dictate the pace and get it on your side in the second half? We're kicking things off with a groovy shoe, and look at this. We've got Shadle Park here, North Central. We're about to get things rolling. You guys dominated 3 periods. Describe the energy that you guys had throughout this whole game. Going back to the team, you mentioned earlier about how you guys have changed. You've matured a little bit. Is there a couple guys that you've been very pleased with in that process? Just 5 days after head coach Mike Leach announced he's leaving Washington State for Mississippi State, the Cougars have seemed to have found themselves a new head coach, and he's coming to the Palouse from Hawaii. A season ago, the Gonzaga men's basketball team left the Orleans Arena with a very sour taste in their mouth after losing to St. Mary's in the WCC championship game. Even though Eastern Washington is coming off a much-needed win over North Dakota, the Eagles know this is not the time to back down. They will take on the winner of Eastern Washington and Southern Utah. Southern Utah, they are on the upset train right now as they upset 2-seeded Northern Colorado last night. The Cougars are 3-1 in the conference, and I'm telling you right now, the kennel better be rocking because Paulo Banchero from O'Day is going to be in the stands. He is the top 4 recruit in the country for the class of 2021. So I'm telling you, students, let's go. It's got to be loud. We got to get this kid to Gonzaga. Odessa. It's a town with a population of barely 850. Anyone can sit here and Google that, but what they can't Google is who these people really are.
Gritty. Very, very gritty. Every single person here does whatever it takes to win. Everybody here does whatever it takes. You know, there's no shortcuts, nothing.
You protect the rim at all costs without fouling.
Ryan Moffitt has embodied the small but mighty gritty mantra of being a kid from Odessa.
I would say, I guess if I could say in one word, I'd say unmatched. I know there are athletes out there that put in a ton of time, but I would have to say his amount of time and dedication to basketball is unmatched.
I mean, growing up, I think he's always kind of had a chip on his shoulder. Like, obviously, just because, like, small town kid, like, nobody really knew who he was. But, like, playing against him and playing with him, like, every day in practice was, like, it was always a fight. And he gave me like some good competition.
Liam Lloyd knows just how competitive Ryan can be. The two actually grew up playing AAU together in Spokane. And there was actually a point where the two could have played again together here in high school at Gonzaga Prep. But like most Odessa kids, Ryan was dedicated to his hometown.
My friends. I could never leave my friends. It's been the best 18 years of my life. The only 18 years of my life, but I wouldn't have it any other way. The things I've done with these guys, obviously, I mean, not all of it I can say on camera, but we've had some good times, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't trade it for a scholarship or, you know, going to D-Prep.
It's been good for Ryan too. I think, you know, as Ryan was playing AAU and different things, he said it just didn't have the same feeling of when he played with his buddies that he started with from second grade.
The senior guard wouldn't have it any other way at this point. His team is 21-0, and right now Ryan is 11 points away from breaking Brock Reveille's all-time leading scoring record in Washington.
Someone can break a record and say, oh, I broke it, now I can stop. That's not how I operate. I wanna break it, and I don't wanna just break it. It's something I wanna push even harder. I wanna shatter it. I mean, I don't want anybody to touch it.
But this is what Ryan really wants.
More so just to get to states, then people stop asking me about it. And so then we can just focus on winning, you know, hopefully our first basketball championship and, you know, do something as a team instead of people keep asking me about points, you know. Yeah, it's awesome, it's really cool, but it's something I'm kind of ready to get out of the way.
Two siblings, one at Eastern Washington,
and a fumble, and it is picked up by Jim Townsend. Jim on his way to the 30, to the 20, he's gonna get in there maybe, down to the 5, touchdown.
one at Gonzaga.
It's defender up in the air, in and good for Jill Townsend with a friendly roll.
16.5 miles is all that separates Jill and Jim Townsend.
It was one of the biggest reasons I chose Gonzaga, was to be close to the family.
Before college offers were in the mix, the two siblings never shied away from being competitive with each other.
Oh yeah, there's tons of stories. I mean, there's a lot of bad stories where we would get in fights between each other, and my mom would come outside and start yelling at us, "What are you guys? Jim, get off her! Quit beating up on her."
And we played on a lot of the same teams. Like when we were really little, like same baseball, like Little League baseball, same football teams, and then I'd practice with Jim's basketball teams in AAU. So we were either always on the same team or, you know, just going against each other. So we were really competitive. We just battled all the time growing up.
When the time came for Jill to pick a school to play basketball at, Jim was on his way to play football for Eastern Washington.
When I was in high school, before I committed, we came to all of Jim's games, tailgated outside. My dad, my mom, it was like their favorite thing to do. And my grandparents, they came to all of them too. And so that was really one of the biggest things that made me choose Gonzaga, was I wanted to give them that opportunity for me and to play basketball, and for them just to watch and be at every game.
Family for us is like really big, so we're really tight with our family, like all our cousins, all our relatives, we're very close to them. So just having family close by is just great, and I'm just thankful for it. I mean, happy you chose Gonzaga, in a way.
Through college, Jill and Jim would gain even more family, both with the Eags and with the Zags.
Jim will just come over and just hang with me and my roommates, or I'll go hang out with his. And it's just pretty fun. It's just kind of like growing up together. That's what we did. We always hung out during, when we were home, and so, it's not maybe as often as it used to be, but it's pretty cool to be able to just hang out with your siblings. And my team, they all know Jim, and they make fun of Jim. It's like he's a part of the team, and so it's pretty fun. He's just like an older brother to our program.
They call me and Jill twins.
Yeah, they say we look a lot alike.
Every time I see him, like, oh, you guys are such twins. He's like, oh my God.
Jim will play his last game at Roos Field this Saturday, and with little distance between the Red and the Kennel, Jill will be right by his side.
I think a lot of family are going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. If anybody's going to get emotional, it's going to be Mom. I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. But, it'll be really cool. I get to go. We have the off day Saturday, so I'm really excited. I think my mom's making me go out on the field with her and my dad, so it'll be fun. But no, we're all just really excited, and just super proud of him.
I've been doing it for five years now, and it just feels weird to actually know that this is probably my last time playing football on the Red in front of for Eastern Washington. So it's a weird feeling. I don't know. It hasn't really set in just yet, but I think probably sometime this week it's just gonna hit me. I'm just like, wow, this is really the end.